Hello and thank you for joining Paper Crafting with Tracy. Today I'm going to show you how to do this fun fold card here. It's with kind of a flipped diamond fold there, or on the angle there. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and this is using the Beautiful Balloons stamp set and coordinating dies. And actually there's coordinating designer series paper that goes with it as well. So here's some of the designs in the paper. So lots of fun. And there's different ones there. And then of course, if we flip it over, various ones there as well. And this is another one. So I made this card, this style of card before. I didn't do a video on it. And as you can see here, it was a Father's Day card that I did. So what we're going to start with is a piece of cardstock, and I'm using Blueberry Bushel for my card base, and it's our usual 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at the 4 1/4. And what we're going to do, I just need to get my trimmer out. Okay, is on the card front, because what we have to do, I actually have a little template here. So at the top of the card on the front, we're going to be cutting down here and here so that we can fold it over like this. Okay. So this is the card front. So if I'll fold it like that so you can see. What you want to do, actually even before we do that, I'm sorry, we want to put our designer series paper on first. Because that way you're not trying to cut through and then recut it or match things up. It just makes it really confusing. So I found it easier if I just put my designer series paper on first. Now, because I'm going to be making some cuts here, I want to make sure I get some tape on the middle of it as well. So we'll stick that on. And this was learned the hard way. When I did this the first time, I didn't put the designer series paper on first, and it made it much more difficult. So we'll get my trimmer out here again. And what we're going to do is we're going to line the edge up with the 3-inch mark. Like so. Bring your trimmer down. Okay. And what we're going to do, I'm going to have to bring it down so it's in my sight here, is you're going to cut from the 3/4 mark all the way down to the 3-inch. Like so. Okay, so from the 3/4 down to the 3-inch. Now we want to do the same thing here from the 3/4 down to the 3-inch. So how I found it easier is to flip it around and you go to the 3-inch again, with the top of your card being at the 3-inch mark. And then again, when you're putting this down, make sure your cutting blade is in the middle of where you want to cut it. So you can see my 3/4 down here and my 3, so I have this in the center. And that way I'm not making any accidental cuts anywhere else. So I push it down to the 3/4 and down to the 3. There we go. Make sure. Now it didn't quite go all the way through, so I'll make sure I go over it again. Sometimes what I should have done when I had it there we go, I just felt it go through, is run it back and forth a tiny bit in the center. And then I'm going to have to do that again for this side. There we go, I just felt it cut what I had missed. Just because it was going through the 2 layers. And now you can see it's cut all the way through. Okay, so that's all I need my trimmer. Actually, before I get rid of my trimmer, One thing I found that was a little bit easier, okay, for folding is if you take your trimmer, because we're going to be folding along here, but I don't want to score between these two marks because this is going to be showing. So all I did, just to help with one corner, it was more just to get it started. So I'm just lining up the two cut lines, and I found it easier if I just took this right at the end there, just to start it. And it made things much easier. So what I'm going to do is flip that. And you just want to be careful as to how much you flip, because you want it so that everything's even. Okay, so I'm quite straight there, and now quite straight there. And now I will crease it down. And I can even get my bone folder here. There we go. And that's how you do the flip fold. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of tape in this corner. You don't want to put huge amounts of tape anywhere. I can put a tiny bit more down here, because remember, a good portion of this is going to be seen on the inside. So this will just help to anchor it down for you. There we go. Now we'll finish decorating. So what I've got is just some of that DSP, but I'm going to use the back side of it. And I've got some Azure Afternoon. So this little piece is a 2 3/4 inch square, and the Designer Series paper is a 2.5 inch square. And line that up in the center here. Oops. Tiny bit off. There we go. That's better. Like so. And then I took a little 2-inch square piece of white cardstock, and that's what I'm going to put my sentiment on. So I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel, and I'm just going to use the Happy Birthday stamp that came in the set. There we go. Make sure we put that away. So this one can be a little bit more masculine, whereas I did this one kind of in the pinks. This one I actually used Berry Burst as my card base, and I used Bubble Bath as the background. So now I've already cut out, with the coordinating dies, some balloons here that I will pop on. Okay, and then I use some dimensionals. I had them here a moment ago. Probably buried them underneath something here. But I did have some here. Oh, I know where they are. I got underneath the Designer Series paper when I stuck them down. So, there we go. Put a couple dimensionals on there. go. And then in the stamp set, there's some string for the balloons. So I'll just get my block here, and I'm just going to use I would normally use my black, which I've put off to the side here, which I'm not able to reach at the moment. So I will use a different color. And I'll use some basic gray, seeing as the memento is out of my reach. So all I'm doing, and this will work just fine. And I just want to be careful because I don't want it going off the page too much, just like so. So I'll ink it up again. Oops, I got quite a bit of ink on my block here, so I always have some wet wipes, and I'll just clean the end of that off. There we go. And now for the inside, all I've done is taken some basic white cardstock and the Azure Afternoon cardstock as my matting. And what this is going to do is provide some more background as well. Okay, if you haven't done it already, I do invite you to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with more videos. And so you can see what I mean about adding that extra. Now you can, what I did on this one here was in the stamp set there is some little confetti. So all I did with that one, and I'll just use some of the Azure Afternoon, and just be careful as to where you put them so that it's not fully showing. So I'll probably stick one right there in the corner so you can see when I close it, it's hidden. And I'll stick some down here. Like so. And there we have it. A fun fold birthday card using the beautiful balloons, stamp set, and coordinating dies. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Paper Crafting with Tracey. Please subscribe to our channel, and happy stamping.